It's frustrating I don't get a notice that the it used to pop up. But, oh well. So anyway, you were saying you were saying something about Destiny. So
Um, yeah. So Destiny. Uh, I guess we were talking about it, but I don't know if like I just don't know like I was afraid of that too. You know, I was afraid that there was going to this was gonna happen. You know, for Destiny's sake, I guess. I guess it's kind of weird for me to say that. For me to say that, but I I thought that's what they said. I thought they said that Final Shape was going to be the last big expansion. I thought they said that, you know, and I guess I was right, you know, thinking that. But I think that also kind of just shows that there really isn't anything else for Destiny. I guess, you know, I think this is the end, whether if it was planned or not. But I guess this is it, you know. Uh, what is it, about 10 years or so? 10 years of Destiny or so? Yeah. It's unfortunate all the ups and downs that we had, but I guess it's all done now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, what's obvious to me is uh, they don't
yeah,
seem to have a plan, right? Or that includes anything dealing with Destiny. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't think they ever really did. I mean, I think they had like an idea. I think they had the story laid out. The story, but I think from the starting point to where it was gonna go, I kind of feel like they didn't really know what the pathway there. You know, I don't think they really planned that out. It just kind of seems weird all the different changes and stuff that they did. Like they went from releasing expansions to just releasing expansions to the seasonal content stuff, right? I didn't know. I just think that's weird because the seasonal content just seems so bad to me, you know. And it's like I don't know. I just don't get it, you know. I feel like I still feel like they would have been in a better spot if they just changed what I guess what they come out with. You know, instead of coming out with stuff like um, instead of coming out with stuff like uh, the seasonal content stuff, if they came out with stuff like instead of coming up with these stories, they had like dungeons or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they did like dungeons, if they did dungeons instead of what we have now, or like strikes, they added more strikes and dungeons and updates activities that are already in the game, to improve activities that are already in the game, to make them more exciting or interesting. And there's a lot of ways you can do that, right? Like you can host events. Maybe like playing strikes, you get additional rewards or something like that. Maybe like there's events where you can get adepts for guns, but also make an update where adepts are actually worth getting, right? Where they actually are better
Yeah.
than the guns that we already have. You know, I don't. I think they. I kind of feel like one of the damning things they did was they made the game try to appeal to too many people. I kind of felt like, I don't know if that was because of money, that they were afraid that they were going to lose out on money, if they just appealed to one or two audiences of people instead of trying to appeal to everybody. But I think when you try to this is the whole kind of argument of this is the whole kind of argument with like Souls games, right? Like why aren't Souls games ever made easier or have a difficulty slider? Well, before we get into any arguments, it's like, well, the developers didn't want it, right? And they also know that the player base that these games are really appealing to don't care for it. They don't care about it. I'm not sitting here like, I like Dark Souls 3 the way it is, but it would be better with a difficulty slider. Sounds kind of stupid to say, right? But
Yeah.
it's pointless. It would be a pointless opinion by me. It sounds like it would be based in opinion for somebody else, right? Because it's an opinion that would affect me very little, right? But but the thing is, it's like for people who want an easier game, well, Dark Souls isn't going to be a game that's going to appeal to you, and that's fine. Not every game is for you, right? And that's kind of how things work. That's kind of how products work. Is there's some that you're going to absolutely love, that you're going to think are great, and then there's going to be some that you're like, well, this isn't for me. I don't think this is so great. Not for me. That's kind of how things work, right? And I wish that Bungie. I understand it's not the same company, but when they still had Bungie employees, I wish that they kind of just went the Halo route where things were kind of a bit more challenging, where it was like you had an understanding of what Halo was and who Halo would like, what Halo was meant for, like who Halo was meant for, right? And I kind of felt like they there was too many times in the game where I felt like they were trying to appeal to too many people. Like they were trying to make things too easy, or they were trying to make things too hard. And then they're like, I just feel like the mixture of the activities just don't really make any sense, because some activities are like really difficult to do, and some activities are like really easy to do. And then it's like, well, okay, it's not like where the 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 activities are all kind of somewhat difficult, or that all the activities are somewhat easy. It's kind of like, well, some are like really goddamn hard, and some are like the easiest thing you've ever done in your life, right? And it doesn't really. It's weird because it's like when you think about when you think about the rewards you get, right? You would think that, okay, the difficulty is that challenge of like trying to get something good, right? Trying to get a great reward like adepts. But I think they were thinking that people who like the easier content in the game aren't going to play grandmasters and get adepts. So they're like, well, we can't make the adept weapons too much more better than the normal ones. So people who like easier stuff will get angry about it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, "Well, that's not fair. I'm not even good. I'm not good enough to play that content. Why do people who play that content get better stuff than me?" I kind of feel like with that, if you're going to put those kind of things in a game, then you have to be willing to put your foot down and say, "Hey, look, either get good enough to get these really good weapons, right, or don't get them at all."
Yeah.
You know, because if you're gonna put challenging content in a game like that, then you have to be willing to do that, right? Because there has to be some kind of incentive for people to want to grind that out, you know. But this way, the way that they have it done, there is no incentive to grind it out. The the only reason that you would ever want to play Grandmaster aside from getting the title is just to do it. It's
Yeah.
just to play it, right? And like we already talked about how time consuming it is. It's just the amount of time that it takes you to play it, and um, yeah, the amount of time it takes you to play it, and the rewards that you get just aren't worth it. The adepts are so garbage, you know. It's just there's no reason for you to get an adept. Adepts are trash,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like they purposely made them trash. They purposely made them as good because I remember when Destiny one, it was like when you got Fatebringer, that was Fatebringer. You know what I mean? Like Fatebringer was a beast of a gun,
Yeah.
and now it's like I can't even tell Fatebringer apart from Spare Rations, you know, or Ostringer apart from Spare Rations. Any of the guns, you know. It's like if I get an Adept Palindrome, I should be like, this is Adept Palindrome. This is Adept Palindrome. Like I can feel it. This is the Adept gun, right? Not just because it says Adept. No, because it actually feels like Adept, you know. But I just think that was one of the things that kind of definitely kind of stirred the player base the wrong way. Of like there's you have you're trying to too hard to appeal to too many people, right? Like the Souls game is going to appeal to people who don't like handheld games and they like a challenge, right? And that people who like those games, that with those people, that game is going to thrive with, right? Because those people are like, hey, this is exactly what I want, exactly what I'm looking for, right? It's challenging. It doesn't hold my hand. It doesn't insult my intelligence. It doesn't make me feel like I'm stupid, right? This is like a game I actually have to think. I actually have to strategize. A game I actually have to learn, understand stuff. A game that's actually going to challenge my skills, right? And then on the flip side of that, there's people who don't like those kind of games. They're gonna be like, ugh, you know, and they're gonna be like, well, I like games that are more like more forgiving. You know, I can't really, I don't know, like Splatoon or something. You know, like I want to play Splatoon because Splatoon isn't hard as hell to play. You know, I can play it. I can pick it up. I can play it. I can enjoy it. That's great. You know, but Splatoon isn't going to appeal to somebody who likes Dark Souls or who's infatuated with those type of games. It's not going to appeal to them. Why? Why would I want to play some cartoony ass Squid Game? Not like Squid Game, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, Squid Game. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's just, it's not, it doesn't really fit what they're looking for, you know? And it's like when we started with Destiny 1, before they kind of just, I guess, tried to appeal to everybody, you kind of had a sense of where the difficulty was at the game in the game. You kind of felt the same throughout the entirety of the game, even in the raids. With the raids still being the most challenging content they had in Destiny 1, it still didn't feel that much more challenging than, let's say, like a Nightfall or any other content they had in the game, right? The enemies still kind of felt on the same level, right? And of course, the real thing that made it more difficult wasn't necessarily the hard enemies, but it was the mechanic. You know, now you're actually being challenged with the mechanic, right? While you're also being shot at by a bunch of ads and stuff, right? Because that's what makes the old raids challenging. But now it's like you can play most of the content in the game, and it's kind of easy, right? For the longest part of time, like, a lot of stuff was easy. Like when you play the campaign, it was easy. When you play the, and then it's like, so then you have the campaign, and I don't know if you ever play, like if you ever play Witch Queen, Lightfall, or Final Shape campaign on the normal difficulty. I don't know if you ever have.
No, I never.
But if you do it, it's like the easiest thing in the world. Like there's no challenge to it at all. Right? You play it on the harder one, the harder difficulty. It's like you notice that it takes you longer to do because enemies are spongy and stuff. And I still think that's a problem. I still think spongy enemies is just not a good decision. I don't think so. But another thing is also the enemies also do more damage to you and stuff like that, right? And I think that the majority of the player base for Destiny are more along the lines of veteran players, people who have been playing the game for quite some time now. And because of how well received these newer expansions were, not really talking about Lightfall expansions. We're talking about these expansions like Witch Queen and Final Shape. These are expansions that have the legend mode. They have the legend mode. When Witch King first came out, the only thing I heard about Witch King's expansion was how great the difficulty was. Because you were saying it felt funner to play with the legend mode on. Because, like, you were actually being challenged through it. It wasn't just something that you were just burning.
Oh my God.
What?
They just booted me out of Destiny. I was in this lost sector, and I was about to fight a boss. You don't know those hard lost sector ones. And then they booted me out. Unfucking
But, I was just thinking, it's like, the decision to have the game be for more casual players is kind of silly to me, especially when it's a game that requires you to not really be a casual player. You kind of have to be somewhat like actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Son. 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 Oh, did I get booted out or something happening with the system or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, I just
Casual players are. They're kind of just like they get on the game, play it for a little bit, and then they get off. You know, But I know, and if that is the case, I don't know. I also don't really see what the issue is of giving more hardcore players really, really good loot to hunt for. You know, like even if it is better than the easier versions that you can get, who cares at this point? Especially since a lot of the player base is 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 the veteran Destiny players. Because man, I don't know if you noticed how screwed up Destiny's been, but there's so many reasons of why a lot of different things are in such a bad situation. Um, it's like there's a reason why certain things are the way they are in Destiny, and it's like, well, they have made the game Destiny 1, right? And then they built up a player base, but then they didn't really cater to that player base in Destiny 2 because they were trying to bring in more people. But then they cut out half the freaking game, so now those new people who come into the game have no freaking idea what they're doing. So they're either year one Destiny 2 players or a bunch of Destiny 1 players or who are continuing to play Destiny. But all the players who don't have an actual Destiny campaign to play to actually help them understand the game and how it works aren't sticking around. It's just a bunch of veteran players who are playing the game, a bunch of players who have been playing the game for several years already, right? And it's like the reason why I think like when you look at these comparisons of like when Bungie comes out with something that's kind of good versus something that's just really really bad, and then you're like, oh well, a lot of people came back, right? But if you that's comparing what the player base was like before people left, right? But the player retention is constantly going down as time went on, right? So it was like back in the beginning of Destiny, back in the beginning of Destiny 2, you had like over 1 million players who were playing the game, right? But then it's like once Curse of Osiris and Warmind came out, and people were like, "Oh, it's just the same old shit." They left. A lot of them left, right? So then you have what ends up being the player base who stuck around, right? And then some of them will leave, and then they'll come back, right? Because they're taking a break from the game, and then you're like, "Hey, well, a lot of people came back." But if you're comparing it to what it was like when we had millions of players, there's still not as many, anywhere near as many people as there used to be, because the player retention kind of dwindled, right? So you're really comparing it to the amount of people who were going to originally come back but stuck around when those 1 million people left, right? So it's kind of like you're comparing the lesser amount of the group of people who stayed versus like, and not comparing them to the larger group that left and never came back. You know, because if you're comparing to the people that stuck around and came back and people who didn't come back, and also adding them up to the people who still haven't come back, then the numbers start not looking so great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you look at it like, so when we talk about like Final Shape, and you say, hey, a lot of people came back from Final Shape, well, what about all the people who still haven't come back? It's like, well, not now you kind of realize that, well, yeah, the still is not great. It's still not a good situation. It's still not the ideal situation, for Destiny. And I think you you don't have newer players staying at all, right? So you have, the only thing that you can do is to appeal to players who are still playing your game, the veteran players, right? So you kind of have to stop trying to cater to everybody. You have to stop trying to please everybody, right? Because that's not working, and it was never gonna work, right? I think that whole idea of a game for everybody, that's I feel like that's so fake. You know, there is no game for everybody. That doesn't exist. That's fiction. That's fictional. You know, there's just a thing. Because there isn't going to be a game for everybody. It's impossible for there to be a game for everybody. That's just it's not. It's not. No. Because if like if if a game that is supposed to be for everybody, like let's say Mario, rated E for everybody, right? Then according to that, for somebody like me, Mario would be the shit. You know, Mario would be like, oh hell yeah, I could play that game anytime, right? But I don't like Mario. I don't like platformers. You know, not because I find them difficult, not because I find them unplayable. I just don't like platformers. You know, sure you might say, well, there's some platformers you like, but those platformers are vastly different from a platformer like Mario or Crash Bandicoot. Like let's what's it called, Ender Lilies, right? Ender Lilies is way different from a Mario game, right? And there's so much in that game that appeals to me where I can say, okay, I could kind of put aside the platformer aspect of the game because there are a lot of aspects of this game that I like, right? But because of those aspects, that platformer game might not be for other people who like platformers like Mario. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might be like, okay, well, this Mario was cool, but this game is hard. This game is too challenging. This game is stupid. Like, not only do I have to jump over these platforms, but I also have people shooting at me, and I have to fight them in the Souls-like combat. I have to dodge out the way and do all this. Too much. It's too much. But to me, I'm like, that's dope. I want to play that, you know. But I don't want to play Mario though. I don't like this like the most basic form of platformer. I just don't like you know and it's also a game that focuses more on the platforming aspect of the game where like you have tighter jumps that you have to make and there's just a lot of jumping, you know, and I just don't like it. You know, where Ender Lilies is there's jumping in the game, yes, there is platforming in the game, but it's really in terms of like survivability of your like trying to survive in the game and fighting, combat, and all that stuff. It's more focused on that. You know, kind of like you can even label Little Nightmares as a platformer, but you and I both know that that game does not really focus on the aspect of platforming. You know what I mean? That's also kind of why I feel like 2D side scroller is probably a more fitting title for that game. It's more of a it's more of a side scrolling puzzle game, horror puzzle game, right? But even then, it's like, well, I like Little Nightmares. You know, it's not like I don't like side-scrolling games or there aren't platforming games I dislike. I mean, there aren't platforming games I like. I just, for the most part, if you tell me a game is a platformer like Mario, I'm probably not going to enjoy it. I'm probably going to look at it and be like, I mean, whatever, you know. But that's kind of why I feel like a game for everybody is a game that's just stupid, right? Because even when there are people who try to make games for everybody, it never works because that's not a formula that's gonna make any type of sense. It's just this. It's not a formula that you could ever possibly concoct, right? It
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense, right? Because people are too different to ever like the same thing as everybody else. You know, it's like you said, like I'm going to make a color, and it's kind of bluish. It's a bluish color. It's not blue, but it's kind of like blue. And then people say, "Well, I don't really like blue. I don't like this color." They're like, "Oh, but everybody's supposed to like this color." Well, I don't. I don't like that color. You know, maybe if it was reddish, I would like the color, but I don't. You know, or maybe if the color was darker, or maybe if the color was lighter, or maybe the color. Actually, I just don't even like the color at all. Don't even show it to me. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there's not such thing as for everybody in these media. You know, like not every movie is going to be good for you. You know, you're not gonna like every movie. You're not gonna like every TV show. You're not gonna like every video game. You know, I just think that whole idea is dumb. It's like when you make this stuff, when every time you create something that other people are going to view in some way or another, you got to pick an audience and run with that audience. You can't just say, "Well, I want everybody to like it." No, that's not going to work. It's impossible. It's impossible for everybody to like it. You know, kind of reminds me of the story of when they were trying. It's a Norse mythology story where um uh Loki tricked I think his name is Hunter or something like that into killing Balder, and they exiled Loki, right? And they were trying to revive Balder, and they went to hell basically to try to revive him, and the ruler of hell said, "Okay, how about this? I'll let you revive him if you get every single living creature to say they'll weep for him, and they want to bring him back, right?" So they went everywhere, and they talked to the plants, they talked to the birds, the fish, the dogs, the cats, everything, right? To weep for Balder, to bring Balder back to life, right? And they were like, and everybody was like, "Oh, we love Balder. Balder's such a great person. Yes, I want Balder to come back to life. I want Balder back. I'll weep for Balder to bring Balder back to life." But guess what happened?
He didn't come back alive
No, he didn't come. He didn't come back to life
because one person,
because
it was somebody
like
who didn't want him back.
yeah, there was one troll who was like, "Well, I don't give a shit about Balder. Fuck him."
Yeah.
And then Balder didn't come back to life because everybody had to want Balder to come back to life, and this one troll didn't give a shit.
One
You
way or the
know,
other.
yeah, he didn't care. He didn't. He's like, "Who the frick is Balder? I don't know who Balder is. I don't give a damn." You know, and it's like it's impossible for every human being on planet Earth to like everything. Like you know, like for like you make a game or a movie, whatever, a book, who cares? Something that people are gonna look at, right? There's gonna be some people who are like, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen." You know what I mean? And there's gonna be some people who are gonna be like, "Yeah, I get it. I like this. This is great." You know, it's impossible. It's impossible for everybody to be on the same page. Especially there's some people who like to argue just for the sake of arguing as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But it's like there's gonna be people who are just going to disagree anyway. even if they did originally like it, the minute they know that other people like it, they'll be like, oh, well, actually, it really wasn't that great. You know what I mean? And people who are going to disagree regardless, you know, they might also even do the opposite as well. They might be like, most people will be like, oh, this thing is garbage. This book is trash. And I'd be like, well, actually, I thought this book was pretty great. And if people say, oh, this book is probably one of the best books I ever read. No, this book is garbage. You know, the people out there who exist I guess, just piss other people off. They exist just to piss other people off.
Yeah.
You know, but you ever find that funny how people literally argue about anything?
How people do what?
Do you ever find it funny how people will literally argue about anything?
Oh yeah. It's. I used to know those people who do it all the fucking time, just to be arguing.
I have seen people who are straight up, like literally straight up, bend the truth or lie, just to start an argument. You know, I see in the comment section somebody, I was thinking like, man, this is how you know that people don't really care about the face of humanity. It's like there was a person made a post where they were basically calling out the entirety of society, the entirety of humanity, right? And they were like, this is proof that people will literally argue about anything. And then they said, this is a bottle of water. And then they showed a picture of a bottle of water. And then you see a bunch of people in the comment section arguing whether or not that's actually a bottle of water. I'm not joking. I was thinking people will be like, okay, you know what? We need to realize that we're not this petty and all concede that this is a bottle of water. Nope. Every single one of them motherfuckers were like, no, this is a bottle of water. No, it's not. It's not a bottle of water, you idiot. How you stupid? Like, bro, it's clearly a picture of a bottle of water. Have you ever seen a bottle of water? I'm not even joking when I was talking about this. Like, what I'm talking about. I'm not even joking. There's literally people in the comment section having heated debates about whether or not the picture is a picture of a bottle of water. I couldn't believe it. Well, actually, I can't. I actually tell you the truth. I can't believe it because this is how petty and garbage humans could be. There's these people who will literally lie just to either slight somebody else or they'll literally lie because they think it's funny. Alright, and then people who either know that they're lying or know that they're trying to piss them off will still argue to say, no, this is a bottle of water, stop being an idiot. Right? Just because of the neediness to correct people, even though that they know that they're being the goofy idiot, even though they know that what the person is saying is just to get on their nerves. But I'm thinking it's like, why? It's like, there's several things going on here. Is people have this need, this desire to be correct, right? But people also have this need to piss other people off for no good reason. I don't even get it. It's like, who cares? At the same time, I'm like, well, who gives a shit? It's a bottle of water. You seriously spending hours of your life discussing a freaking bottle of water? Yeah, oh my god. The amount of time people will spend on just dumb shit. I'm not trying to say I'm any better. Yeah, I do the same crap. I'm flawed too. But why do we do these things? Why do we do these? Why do we do dumb crap? And especially when we know it's dumb too. You know what I mean? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh! Shit! Just 1 second, son. I'm trying to kill this guy. Huh? Yeah, kill him. I hope it tastes like flavorful. Oh yeah, I finally got past this part. It was easy to do. I just did it for the fuck of it.